Let me ask you something. If you stopped working tomorrow, not because you wanted to, but because you had to, how long before the bills don't get paid? For me, the honest answer is a few months, maybe less depending on what broke. I'm 62 years old. I have no retirement savings, spent that on a business. Steve and I run a business that pays our bills right now. But the second we stop working it stops working for us. There's no passive version of what we do. There's no income that shows up whether we show up or not. That's the reality I'm building my way out of. Not complaining about it, not panicking about it, building my way out of it. And today I want to show you exactly what that building looks like, because I think a lot of women watching this are in a version of the same situation, and nobody is talking about it honestly. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Valerie. I'm 62. I live in a camper in rural South Carolina, building income after 50 that doesn't require me to have a boss, a client, or a perfectly available schedule. Everything I share is my own experience. It won't be everybody's experience. Subscribe if you want to follow along while I figure this out. First, let me be clear. Not being able to afford retirement is not a character flaw. It's not laziness. It's not stupidity. For a lot of women our age, it's the result of betting on something. A business, like we did. A marriage, a family decision that made sense at the time, of putting everything into making life work and not having enough left to build the cushion underneath it, of being the person who kept things together while retirement planning waited for a better season that never quite came. I told that story in detail in my retirement reality video. If you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch. But the short version is this. Steve and I put everything we had into our business. It worked. And it left us here in our 60s with no safety net and no retirement account and a business that only earns when we're in it. That's where I'm standing. And from here, I have two choices. I can feel bad about it and wallow in it, or I can build something. I'm building something. I didn't start with a complete plan. I started with one idea, and I've been tweaking and evolving it as I go. That's actually part of what I want to share with you today, because I think waiting until you have the whole plan figured out is one of the things that keeps people from starting at all. Here's what the ecosystem looks like right now. The anchor of everything is my Amazon influencer income. I make short video reviews of products people are already buying on Amazon, and I earn a commission when they watch my videos and then buy. I have over 1,400 videos on Amazon. It's actually almost 1,500 now. I've made about $9,000 this year. It's not retirement money on its own, but it earns whether I'm having a good day or a hard one. It earns overnight. It earns on weekends. It earns while I'm handling the business operations in the dog training business or sitting right here in this chair. That's fundamentally different from any income I've built before. Steve has recently started his own Amazon influencer account too. We're just beginning to grow that one, but it's another layer that's being added to our ecosystem. I also have a YouTube review channel where I upload all my Amazon videos. I use Viral View to manage my Amazon business. It also cross-posts some content. And I use a software called Cha-Ching that handles the bulk of distribution to YouTube and to international Amazon storefronts, the UK, Germany, Australia, and several others. So the same content is earning in multiple places without a ton of extra work. Part of the ecosystem. My VA helps manage and tweak those YouTube uploads, but the software does all the heavy lifting. And then there's this channel, Valerie Creates It, where I document everything I'm building and learning. That's where you are right now. I have Pinterest too. It's kind of on pause right now while I figure out the right direction for it. but it's part of the bigger picture. I'm also planning a blog and a Substack down the road. Most of that will be repurposed content, so it's not starting from scratch. It's putting what already exists in a lot of different places. I'm using AI to work smarter. I'm automating what can be automated, getting more done without adding more hours to my day. Because I don't have unlimited time and I need everything I build to pull its weight. One thing I'm intentional about is building on platforms with longevity. A YouTube video I made 6 months ago is still out there being discovered. A Pinterest pin can resurface for years. A blog post can rank in search long after you write it. That's fundamentally different from posting on Instagram or TikTok, where something disappears from the feed within a few days, and then you're back to zero. I want every piece of content I create to keep working long after I'm done with it. That's the ecosystem. Not all built at once, I'd never recommend that, but intentionally, in order, with a clear picture of where it's all headed. Now, I didn't have all that figured out at the very beginning, but once I started, I could hone that in. And the picture has changed as I've learned more. And that's not a problem. That's just how this works. Here's what I'm building toward. I want to feel comfortable and not pressured by money. I want to simplify our bills, not add to them. We're already buying the land we're on. The next step is getting to a place where the property feels like a choice we made freely, not a situation we're managing. I want a home that feels like us, comfortable, simple, not trying to impress anyone, just comfortable for us. I just want the financial noise to get quiet. That feeling is what I'm building toward. And the income I'm constructing is what gets us there. And I want to get there without drawing Social Security early. Here's my thinking on that. I was born in 1964, which means my full retirement age is 67. Right now, in 2026, if you draw Social Security before full retirement age, you can only earn $24,480 a year before they start reducing your benefit. That's a hard annual ceiling on your income. I don't want a ceiling. I want to build this income large enough that $24,480 a year would barely scratch the surface, which means I need to delay drawing until 67 when that restriction disappears entirely. And waiting also means a higher monthly benefit when I do take it. So the plan is to build this income large enough that I don't need Social Security before 67. Then take it at full amount with no cap on what I earn alongside it. That's not a fantasy. That's a math problem. And I'm working the math. Now here's the part I want to be real about. This is exciting and scary at the same time. Sometimes both in the same afternoon. I check my Amazon numbers every day. A good day and I feel like this is working, this is real, keep going. A slow day and there's the quiet voice. Is this actually going to be enough? This channel hasn't taken off the way I'd like yet either. I watch my subscriber count every single day and I tell Steve I'm going to have a video take off soon. I believe that. But believing it and watching it happen slowly are two different feelings. And I'm not going to pretend otherwise. What keeps me going is this. I spent years in industries where the income stopped the second I stopped. You trade time for money. And when the time runs out, so does the money. What I'm building now is different in a very fundamental way. Every video I make is still out there working after I'm done with it. Every piece of content I add makes the whole thing slightly more valuable. It compounds, slowly, quietly, but it compounds. And that means every day I build is a day I can't get back if I don't build it. Here's what I want you to take away from this if you're sitting somewhere familiar right now. You don't have to have the whole plan before you start. I sure didn't. I started with one piece, and I've been figuring out the rest as I go and tweaking it and managing it. What matters is that you start, because every day you wait is a day the income you're building could have been working for you. You need one thing that earns without requiring you to be available every minute. One thing that can grow while you rest. One layer of income that doesn't stop when you stop. That's the foundation. And everything else builds on top of that. I started at 62 with nothing saved and a business that was wearing me out. And I'm building something real. You can too. You just have to start before you're ready, because ready is a myth. If this is a conversation you've needed to have for a while, subscribe. I'll be here every week telling you what I'm building, what I'm learning. No hype, no highlight reel, just the real version. So tell me in the comments, what does retirement actually look like for you right now? Not the plan you had, where you actually are. I have a feeling there are more of us in this situation than anyone talks about. Stay close. You're not done yet, and neither am I.